And that's why I've joined the Biden-Harris campaign, because the only way to preserve our freedoms and hold on to our humanity is to vote for Joe Biden for president. Really, we don't have a choice.
Robert De Niro's speech went pretty good. Welcome back to the JP React channel, my beautiful freedom-loving friend, where we like to call out the lies, hypocrisy, and corruption of tyrants and Satan and useful idiots today, shine the light of awareness on woke absurdities, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters because truth conquers. On the topic of useful idiots, we've got tyrants and their pawns, and it's beautiful when the pawns think they're in a powerful position. They don't know they're pawns, but that's what a pawn is for. And Robert De Niro is just that. People like him because he can act like characters that someone else writes for him. When he talks, speaking his own mind. Less and less people like him. So Robert De Niro just the other day obviously delivered a really Winston Churchill-esque speech outside of Trump's courtroom saying, dude, I'm here. I've officially joined the Biden-Harris campaign. It's like, dude, that checks out. You look like you're one of them. And he was just going on a tirade about Trump, literally making things up. Like he's gonna get, if he's elected, he'll get into office and he'll never leave. Where'd you get that from, Bob? And if we let this election stand, then kiss elections goodbye, because Trump won't have them. It's like, you support a political persecution to shut down this election, to save elections? And then beautifully, the crowd wasn't very receptive for some actor acting like a tyrant, talking down to people, saying made up things without any validity behind them. So the crowd gets a little angry at old Bobby De Niro. And typically the more insecure you are, the more you act out in rage when someone questions you. And boy, did Robert De Niro do just that. We'll show you what it's like when he gets flustered as well. And also at the end of today's video, there is a hilarious clip, a little AI doctor of like Robert De Niro saying what he really means. We'll take a look at that. But first, let's hit some of the highlights from his performance. Boy, I'm really glad this happened. Now, starting off, walking to the speech, you can see Robert De Niro there surrounded by a bunch of bodyguards, and he's the only one in the mask. When did he put that on? Probably about a minute before he stepped out of the car. Right now, here, this is a man of science. He knows, okay, dude, I'm in a place where I gotta protect myself from the vid, if you know what I mean. But fast forward about 10 seconds, walking towards the mics, and boom! He knows he's in the medical clear. This is a man of science, still around the same people he wanted to protect himself from. And then, of course, when he gets to the mics in front of the news cameras, where he's objectively closer to a lot more people, this man of science knows I scientifically do not need my mask at that point. I need my mask when I'm further away and around less people. It's like social distancing meets reverse psychology. Cool. So already we know the guy is a useful idiot before he even says his first word. Now, as we get to his words of what he did say, there's a few holes in De Niro's theories. So let's walk through this together, and you're going to hear me do some course corrections along the way.
Under Trump, this kind of government will perish from the earth.
Whoa! I like that. He said words. Where'd you get those words, Robert? And also, if you think about it, under Trump, this kind of government, presumably the government we have now, will perish from the earth. That would convince me to vote for Trump if I wasn't gonna. The corrupt government as it is, it'll perish from the earth. Cool, who do I vote? Trump? Trump's gonna make that perish? He's got my vote. Now, we'll get back to his speech in just a second, but the government that'll perish from the earth, right now you see a symptom of that government, a government that has legalized crime and outlawed law-abiding citizens and store managers trying to stop crime. California, you're allowed to shoplift as long as it's under $900. Do you want this to perish? Because this will perish under Trump. Another case in point of what might perish. Have you seen a lot of cities are zombie apocalyptic at this point? Well, actor Johnny Wacto, I guess is how you say his name, he was recently shot in Los Angeles because he walked to his car and someone was trying to steal his catalytic converter. So this Hollywood actor shot dead in the streets of Los Angeles. Ladies and gentlemen, this kind of government that facilitates this will perish under Trump. So beware. You want more criminals everywhere, don't you? You want legalized crime? You want your life to be more in danger? Don't vote for Trump. Vote for Biden because Robert De Niro said so. That was the one point he had that I thought was valid.
I don't mean to scare you. No, wait, maybe I do mean to scare you.
Okay, we have to stop right there. Dude, he should at least like memorize this script. He's just shamelessly reading off his page like an amateur, word for word. Now listen to what he says.
I don't mean to scare you. No, wait, maybe I do mean to scare you.
He wrote that word for word. You saw him checking his script. I don't mean to scare you. No. Maybe I do mean to scare you. Nothing could come across as more disingenuous than that being pre-written, written word for word. So we tick the disingenuous box. Say more.
If Trump returns to the White House, you can kiss these freedoms goodbye that we all take for granted.
This guy takes no freedoms for granted. The freedom to be ruled over by a tyrannical government, I would love to kiss that freedom goodbye.
And elections, forget about it.
Dude, right there. Okay, that's a big claim. If Trump returns to the White House, elections, forget about it. Implying we're not going to have any more elections if Trump is president. Guess what? Trump not being president, they're interfering with the election left and right. Someone could even question, even if we go through the motions of voting in November, are we actually have an election? They're politically persecuting, front-running presidential candidate, politically persecuting him. Election interference all over the board. Illegals in Mexico, before they come over the border, they're giving flyers out. Be sure to vote for Biden or else the border's going to close. Your family's not going to get in. Okay, so we need to stop this election. We need to not have a free and fair election to make sure we have elections. The math checks out. We'll get back to this ridiculousness in just a second, but first, if you've been jabbed or you've just been infected by the you know what, have you been worried about all the long-term health implications that we're now seeing in real time? And on that, you've probably heard that spike protein is the toxin that's being implicated in all these drastic health conditions that we're just seeing documented in front of us. Well, if you've been worried about that, let me help you ease your worries, because help is here. Spike Support Formula by the Wellness Company. It's the solution that many have been praying for, thanks to Dr. Peter McCullough, Dr. Drew Pinsky, and the Chief Medical Board at the Wellness Company. It's an all-natural formula researched and designed to block and dissolve spike proteins in the bloodstream, the major toxin causing many of these problems. It's the gold standard, over-the-counter, daily supplement you can take to combat spike protein. Ease your worries and get back to feeling your best by grabbing Spike Support Formula now at twc.health/JPReacts. And while you're there, use a discount code JPReacts to get 15% off your order. Thank you, Spike Support Formula. Now, back to Robert De Niro.
That's over. That's done. If he gets in, I can tell you right now, he will never leave. He will never leave.
Say it one more time.
You know that. He will never leave.
So he's speaking like an authoritarian. And I do believe this guy thinks very highly of himself. I think he believes he's in a position of authority where he can talk down to people, make outrageous claims, which for all intents and purposes are literally made up, and give zero evidence, zero nuanced thought behind it. Trump will never leave. You know that. No, I don't know that, but you're trying to invade people's psychology by saying they know that. Then he repeats it 3 different times. He will never leave. He even really pronounce the syllables in the word never. That's just authoritarian bashing of a thought virus down people's throats. Most people were throwing this up, by the way. But it just shows this guy is very much acting like a tyrant. I think he is being a useful idiot for the tyrant of the Biden regime. And the gaslighting, the hypocrisy is beautiful. He's telling you that Trump is the tyrant while he's talking to you like he's a tyrant.
And elections, forget about it. That's over. That's done. If he gets you right now, he will never leave. He will never leave. You know that. He will never leave.
And during some of Robert De Niro's Churchill-esque speech, some of the good people of New York that don't really buy into his propaganda set off their car alarm.
This is a reality. And that's why I've joined the Biden-Harris campaign, because the only way to preserve our freedoms and hold on to our humanity is to vote for Joe Biden for president. Really. We don't have a choice.
We don't have a choice. Well, Biden's a choice, objectively the worst choice. There's Trump is another choice, much better choice. And RFK is a third choice, also a much better choice than Biden. So there's 3 choices, but he's telling you you don't have a choice. So believe what you want.
On January 6th,
Oh, he hasn't seen the footage that they tried to suppress.
lawmakers despicably tried to keep the loser Trump.
There's more just authoritarian, the loser Trump. I bet I'd love to be in his head when he's saying things like that. He's like, dude, I'm going to say what I just said. The outrageous claim Trump loser. I'm going to say that again. But get this, I'll say it louder, which will be a lot more convincing. And then he gets flustered.
For these lowlives, for Trump.
Lowlives for Trump. Cool. Look, I don't know, what, 60% of the country are lowlives for Trump? That's awfully classy of you and objectively a bad strategy to call them all lowlives. Now, before we get to some things you might not know about Robert De Niro, which reveal him as an absolute tyrannical hypocrite, take a look at him, of course, surrounded by bodyguards, trying to get to his car and having to face the consequences of people rejecting what he had to say. And he doesn't take rejection too kindly, which tells you he's probably very insecure about what he said.
Democrats, you are gangsters. You are gangsters.
He's yelling, "You are gangsters," at the Trump people. That's funny. And by the way, he plays a gangster in so many films. He plays it really well, if I'm just being honest with you. But just like, you're gangsters. Like, what gangsters wear red MAGA hats?
You're washed up. You.
Then he just starts yelling F you at people. And by the way, the things people are yelling at him, I don't like it. It's just sort of leftist lunacy portrayed by the right. But what I like about the crowd, even though I don't necessarily like the content of what they were saying or yelling at Robert De Niro, I like that it was symbolically rejecting his tyrannical overrule as a useful idiot. He's not even a tyrant, but he thinks he is. Rejecting his propaganda message that he was trying to cram down their throats. So I love that symbolism of rejection. Now, we also need to consider the fact that Robert De Niro said he would never even play the role of Trump in a movie because Trump is such an evil person. And presumably that means Robert De Niro definitely thinks himself as having superior moral character, as we just watched him yell F you at people. So let's take a look at Robert De Niro's superior moral character. Whoa, here's a headline. Robert De Niro ordered to pay $1.2 million to his former assistant for gender discrimination and retaliation. I wonder what he said to her. Well, let's listen to 30 seconds of one audio recording.
Somewhere, but don't get angry with me because I'm pissed off because I didn't get a simple thing that I need right now here out in California when I'm here for less than 24 hours. You gotta be kidding me, you spoiled brat.
So this is how he talks to an employee of his, a female employee, yelling at her, cussing at her. This is a voicemail recording. It's just a portion. We'll listen to another 19 seconds.
You, so quit whatever you want. God, how could you say you don't answer? You're upset because you're living in Spain. You spoiled brat.
Superior moral character he has. Let's hear more about De Niro's moral superior character. Robert De Niro on Harvey Weinstein and I are working on doing a documentary. Good buddy Harvey. Cool. He's in a circle with Harvey Weinstein. Awesome. What else? Robert De Niro is a pedophile. Ooh, let's hear more about that. Here, De Niro is with his good friend and convicted serial pedophile friend, Peter Nigel, in the Caribbean, close to Epstein's private pedo island. But wait, there's more. The whole pedo thing of Robert De Niro, superior moral character guy. Here's the headline from 1998. He thought we forgot. Nope, there's the internet. De Niro held in question in Paris over vice ring. The American actor Robert De Niro was arrested by French vice squad at the Bristol Hotel in Paris yesterday and held for questioning. So this has to do with a high-profile prostitution ring that was involving minors. Never convicted of anything, but he's questioned for a reason in association with this. And then another old headline. This one's from 2021. I mean, who can have this amnesty at this point? But Robert De Niro is being accused of sexual misconduct. And then just for the sake of things are interesting with the guy, he's got the same bodyguard as Sam Bankman-Fried. So here we see Sam Bankman-Fried, big criminal, and one of his bodyguards. And here we see Robert De Niro, big useful idiot, same bodyguard. Wonder why they have the same bodyguard. Two puppets of the DNC. Clinton assigns them the body. Here's this bodyguard that you do the right thing, he'll guard your body. Do the wrong thing, he's going to dispose of your body. And that this is worth looking at because it really displays Robert De Niro's very genuine, authentic nature. And, he wears extremely high lift shoes. Might tell you he's insecure. Whoa, look at this guy. He's just, maybe a little insecure about his height. Just food for thought. And lastly, as the whole world is roasting Robert De Niro, and, he earned it. This is like an Oscar, except of the, being lit on fire sense. Someone took a portion of his speech, made AI generation, and normally I'm not a big fan of AI, but I liked this. And I would dare say this is the same outside of Trump courtroom speech Robert De Niro gave, only if he was honest.
First of all, everyone please put on your masks and keep your distance. Some of us are really weak and fragile, and I don't know why they made this podium so high. I told them I'm coming straight from the bathhouse and didn't have my platform shoes with me.
So I remember the previous picture.
I'm speaking to you today because I'm a scared little man. A washed-up actor with lots of skeletons in my closet. People like me need Joe Biden in power. Not because he's any good, but because he enjoys the same sick perversions we do. Lots of dipshits think I'm smart because, I used to be able to memorize lines, but cock my head to the side and squid with a New York accent. In reality, I'm just a mook. M-O-O-K mook. I'll be honest, Donald Trump's...
I want you to know, I don't know what mook means, but during one of the crowd interactions, Robert De Niro was screaming at the Trump people that they're mooks. Again, I don't know what that means.
Scares the living shit out of me. I've always been jealous of him. He's a real man and true New Yorker. He walked the walk, talked the talk, and like Sinatra, he did it his way. I, on the other hand, only pretend to be tough and powerful on a movie set. If Donald Trump was in front of me right now, I'd punch myself right in the face, get down on my hands and knees and beg to blow him. If Trump gets reelected, sickos like me will be permanently banned from the circle of trust. I'll be stuck pumping blue milk from Mark Hamill's tits in a gay porn parody of Meet the Parents. I'm begging you, vote for Joe Biden so I don't shrivel up and die.
That wins the day. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think of Robert De Niro's whole episode outside of Trump's trial. Let me know what you think about the human being. Not him as an actor, objectively, he's had some good roles, but him as a human. Love to hear your thoughts. And also, let me know, do you think Robert De Niro actually helped Biden's campaign, or do you think he helped Trump's campaign? Look forward to seeing your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you watching. I'll look forward to seeing you on our next video. But until then, don't be like Robert De Niro.